All right, folks, welcome back to Factor Talk Radio. Our number 205-386-FACTOR. Again, our number is 205-386-FACTOR if you want to call in. Right now on the line we got Stephanie Conway, who is the president of the Conservative Club here at Eastern Connecticut State University. Stephanie, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about Obama and your views in a minute. But first I want to get a brief description about what you do at the Conservative Club here on campus.
We really just mostly work to get people involved in politics. It's a small campus. We don't have a lot of people that are really genuinely interested, so we like to hold social events and other controversial things to really pique people's interest and get them at least involved.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that people, over the years, that people have really been getting involved with this club? Do you think that people are tending to like it?
They absolutely are. My freshman year, 4 years ago, we had, I think, a total of 3 of us. We didn't even have a full e-board of the 5 specific members.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, we had 10 or 12 members in attendance. This year, I have a 40-person email list and a couple regular attendees.
Nice. That's excellent. I'm going to be joining you on Wednesday. So we got a big election tomorrow, the biggest one in the history of this country, really. Are you feeling optimistic about it?
I'm very much on the fence about it. I think it can go either way. I hear a lot of people on the left and the right calling it a landslide for whoever candidate they support, but I think it's really going to come down to just the last minute, and I think there's going to be a lot of recounts.
Yeah. I mean, I've said before on this program that I don't completely trust Mitt Romney. I have a lot of things that I have problems with him. I think he's kind of establishment Republican. I want more of like a Tea Party Reagan conservative in office. But the reason I'm supporting Mitt Romney is because I want Obama out. What do you like about Mitt Romney?
I like that he knows what he's doing with business. I'll agree with you in that he's kind of the lesser of two evils in this election. Again, just like it was back in 2008 when it was McCain and Obama.
Yep.
But he at least knows what he's doing with money. You can't say that he doesn't. And
right.
Somebody needs to know what they're doing with money in order to even have a chance at turning the economy around.
Right. A lot of people are saying that it's going to come down to the independent vote. And one of the main questions that independent voters are asking themselves is, am I better off than I was 4 years ago? Do you think we as a nation are truly better off than we were 4 years ago?
If somebody in the nation honestly believes that we're better off than we were 4 years ago, they've had their head in the sand. I can't say that we've sunk a lot deeper, but we certainly haven't improved, especially if you look at even just the way the government handles its dealings outside of just economically. Things are shady. There's a lot of backroom stuff. There's a lot of executive orders. It's not the kind of nation where the people can be actively engaged and expect the best from their government. And you should be able to at least expect good from your government, not expect your government to have to hire czars and pass a ton of executive orders and backroom dealings. That's never any good.
Yeah, I'm going to read you some statistics here, which will probably help to answer the question as to whether or not we truly are better off than we were 4 years ago. I believe you're right. I think we are. There's no possible way that we are better off than we were 4 years ago. When Barack Obama entered the White House, the average price of gasoline was $1.85. Today it's $3.59. And this is something that relates to people our age. I mean, teenagers paying for gas. The price of gasoline under Obama has skyrocketed, and we still get people that are supporting him. I don't understand that. It's hard to believe, but today the poverty rate for children living in the United States is a whopping 22%. That's another one that relates to kids our age. I don't understand how people can support him. What do you think?
People will hear and listen to what they want to hear and what they want to listen to. If you look at the gas prices and you think about the kind of outrage we were seeing at those gas prices under a Republican president, it tells you a lot about the kind of people that are supporting Obama. It's people who are okay with these huge differences in how you perceive an administration. The level of hypocrisy is simply outstanding in what people will tolerate from the left versus what they'll tolerate from the right. And then talking about the poverty rate of children, like children and teens is people expect it now. They're like, oh, it's okay. It's almost admirable to be on welfare or to be receiving some kind of government handout,
right,
or working your way through things. You demonize the people who have money now. So
I mean,
to say the poverty rate is that low is, oh, the government will help them out.
we have a government now that is encouraging people to go on food stamps. Encouraging people. We have 1 in 7 Americans are currently on food stamps. The welfare state has shot through the roof under this administration. It's not about, oh, people just need some help here, we should give them a little welfare, they need an extra boost. This is about getting people dependent on the government. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. It's how you breed voters for yourself. They know that the left is typically the party that's going to give you more handouts, it's going to give you more welfare, it's going to give you more food stamps and that type of thing. And those programs, when they're used correctly, aren't bad. People think conservatives are out to get the poor. We don't want to help the poor. What we don't want to help are the abusers of the system. There's the saying, teach a man to fish, he can feed himself the rest of his life. Catch a man a fish, he eats for a day. Conservatives want to teach you to fish. We want you to get off your feet or get off your butt and go to work and do stuff. The Democrats want to keep handing you a fish, so you have to keep coming back to them. If they know that you're going to come to them for the handouts, then that's one more vote that they've locked in.
Right. And another thing that I just can't wrap my mind around is I've gotten many callers on this program from the left, and they're supporting Obama no matter what. And then I bring up Obama. I tell them the facts, some of which I just read, and they still support Obama. So then I move on to his radical past and the radicals that this man has surrounded himself with. And I tell about Van Jones, and I tell about Reverend Wright, and I tell about Frank Marshall Davis. And I say that he's surrounded by Marxists and communists, and they still support him. I don't get it.
It's what's popular now. People, if you think about it, the people who are the most vocal are generally also the younger people. But if you ask the younger people what their least favorite subject in school is, they'll often tell you history. And people who don't understand history look at these kinds of programs, the social programs, and they look at socialism and Marxism and everything else, and they think, oh, this is so nice, let's give everybody everything, let's all work together. They're almost idealistic to a fault in that they don't understand what really happens from these systems. And so they go with it. They hear these radical names, and they think they're just radical because nobody understands it. People are greedy, and they don't want to help, and all this other stuff. People aren't educated the way that they should be to understand the real faults to these kinds of systems.
Let me ask you this.
It really hurts them.
Do you think, how big of a role do you think indoctrination in the classroom plays in really politics among the youth?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. I have been a poli-sci major my entire 4 years that I've been here. I took a lot of government and history classes in high school. And in, I think, just about every single one of my classes, I've seen a lot of different indoctrination-like techniques. Some teachers are worse than others. It's just a lot of teachers see that classroom, and they use it as a podium. Some of them more maliciously than others and more intentionally than others. But it's absolutely there. And you have a group of students who are trusting you to teach them. Not every student is going to be like me or like somebody else who's actively engaged and is going to speak up. Most of the time they go in, they sit down, they listen, and they move on. And that's what they take. They don't bother to research more. They don't bother to challenge.
You there? No, you got really quiet all of a sudden.
Am I normal now?
You are normal now, yes.
Okay. But people don't challenge their teachers. It's been drilled in that you need to just purely respect them 100% of the time, and people confuse respect with being completely unable to talk to someone. If you respect someone, you should be able to have an intelligent conversation and debate of ideas with them.
Right.
And people think that to respect your teacher, you need to just sit down and shut your mouth and call it a day.
Right. Now, you've actually approached some of your teachers that have been indoctrinating your class, and you've approached them after class and told them your concerns. Is that correct?
I've challenged quite a few of my teachers.
You got quiet again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. I've challenged quite a few of my teachers. I've approached some specifically after class. I've talked to some specifically in class. I've gotten one teacher as much attention, or so much attention, that the radio show I was on at the time actually called them and tried to get them on. But they declined the interview.
Wow. I think that's great. I think a lot more teenagers need to do exactly that. Now, one more question before I let you go. I mean, I've been calling this upcoming election the most crucial election in the history of the United States. And I think you would agree with that. If Obama gets reelected, I mean, what exactly is at stake in this election? If Obama gets reelected, what's going to happen to our country?
I think it'll go downhill, and it'll go downhill fast. What he's looking for, Obama, the problem with Obama is he doesn't love America as America is. Mm-hmm. He loves a socialist idea of America. And if you think about it, the more imitate he makes the economy and everything else, the more people will be reliant on the government. And the more reliant the people you have, the more prone they are to being able to be turned into a completely government-controlled kind of society. So the more he works at making us need the government, the easier it'll be for him to make the government really the strongest standing source of information and policy and everything else in the society, instead of the people holding the government responsible.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot at stake. It's going to be close. I'm praying Mitt Romney wins. Stephanie, I want to thank you for joining me on the program tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
No problem. Call in anytime.
All right, thanks.
Yep, bye. That was Stephanie Conway, folks, from the president of the conservative group here on campus. Really, really smart girl. She's actually going to be possibly getting a show on Junior Factor Nation, so look out for that. It's going to be great if that happens. We'll have some final thoughts, some final statistics when we come back. Stay with us.
Factor Talk Radio.